Okay, so moving on to task number 3, which is to do with database. It says you are now going to prepare some reports. Dates are to be imported in the format of day, month, year. Very important piece of information over here. The dates need to be in the format of DMY. Okay. Using a suitable database package, import the results J222 result 220 results.csv. Okay. So we do have results file over here, which is over here. Where is it? Results is over here. And this needs to be treated as a database file. So we are going to use Microsoft in order to open up this file. So it basically means we need to import this particular file into Microsoft Access. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Access. So what I'll do is in my folder itself, in my folder, I'm going to right click and say new, and I'm going to take a new Access database. Okay. And let it be as it is the name. Okay. And I'm going to open it up. And as soon as I open up my database, I'm going to enable whatever content is there. And now I'm going to import. Okay, so I'm going to basically get this results file into Microsoft Access. Okay, so let's get started. So let's go into external data. I need to get data from out. I have a new data source. Okay, I want to get the data from a file, text file. Okay, so let's click on text file. And now you will have to locate where your file is kept. So let's click on browser. And let's look at, so mine is, remember it's over here. And I need to get the results file. So let's click on that. Let's click on open. Right. So now it has been taken in and I'm going to say, okay. And now my computer is asking me, okay, how is this data organized? Is it organized, delimited or fixed width? Okay, so what does delimited mean? Delimited means commas or tabs are separating the columns. And that is the case over here. You can see racer ID, comma, last name, comma, first name. So you can see commas are separating the columns over here. So I'm going to stick with delimited and I'm going to click on next. Then it asks me again, what type of delimiter is used to separate your data? It's commas. Okay. I'm going to say it's commas and you can see commas is working. The data has now been separated. It's ID columns, last name column, first name column, club column. Okay. One more thing that you must tick over here is you can see that this first row are the column names. Okay, so you must tick this to say that, look, the first row, they are not data to be used. They are simply the column names or the field names. Okay, now you click on next again. And over here, there are a couple of things that we need to do where we're going to define what type of data we're going to be using and all that. We'll deal with that shortly. But before we forget, let's remember this day month here. Okay, all our data is, all the dates will be following day month here. So let's immediately go into advanced and we tell our computer the date order should be day, month, year. That's the order that we want it to follow. And we say, okay. Right, that's also done. Okay, so that's also done. I think somewhere over here, date of birth is there. So it's following the day, month, year. Let's click again and see if it's actually done. Yes, it's going as day, month, year. Okay, right. Anything else that needs to be done? You can see race ID, last name, first name, birthday, date time was done. Average Jan should be an integer. Shall we just quickly confirm that? So age, it is an integer, so that's fine. Okay. What I want you to look at is over here we have a penalty, and a penalty is going as a Boolean value or a logical value, which is either yes, no, true, false, or 0, 1. Okay. So let's go and make it a yes, no value. Okay, so penalty, which is over here. Let's come over here. You can see penalty, it's already -1 is a no and a 0 is a yes, apparently it looks like. So we will change it to yes, no. You come over here and say we want it to be a yes, no, not a number. We want it to be yes or no. Okay, so 0 will be taken as yes and minus will be automatically taken as no. Let's click on next. So over here, it talks about the primary key. And with regard to the primary key, also the question paper has told you that race ID should be set as the primary key. So we'll do that as well. Choose my own primary key. And I want the primary key to be the racer ID. We click on next step. And now it asks, what's the name of your table? The question paper hasn't given us a name for the table. So we'll go with whatever name Access is giving us. And we'll click on finish. Okay, do you want to, computer is asking, do you want to save these steps? Not necessary. You can click on close. So now you can see your table has been imported. Okay, the results CSV file has now been imported into Microsoft Access. Okay, so you have your first table over here. Right. Then it goes on to say, place in your evidence document a screenshot showing the primary key, field names, and the data type used in the table. So you will have to change the view in order to be able to show the primary key, the field names, and the data types. You will have to change the view. Come to the home tab and go into design view. In design view, you can see the primary key over here. You can see the field name, and you can also see the data type over here. So this is an excellent view to take a screenshot and complete this evidence. So let's go into Windows Shift. And here we are. Let's take a complete screenshot of this area. Let's go into evidence number 5 over here. Control V. There you go. The screenshot has been pasted. Right. Then there is another importing to be done, which is the club file. Now, before you do import any other files, make sure you go back into data feed view. Okay, while you're in design view, do not try to do anything. It can cause errors. It can cause problems. So immediately change it back into data feed view. Okay. So now we are in data feed view. Let's try and import the second file, the club file. So if you come into external data, you have new data source from file, text file, and let's browse it. And the file that we want is called club. Okay, let me confirm again. Yes, it is called clubs. And let's say open. So we'll say okay. So again, delimited, the commas are separating the data. So we say next. Again, comma. The first row contains field names. Again, next. Over here, we don't have any date, so we don't need to worry about any modifications over here. We can keep it as it is. There is no field that they have not told us not to import. That has been mentioned. So far, so good. Let's click on next again. So once again, we have to choose our primary key. So let's see what is the primary key over here. They have said the primary key should be club ID. So let's come over here and let's change it to club ID. I want the club ID to be the primary key. We click on next. This is the name of the table. No probs. Finish. Do you want to save these steps? Not really necessary. We click on close. So now you can see the second table has also been imported. Clubs has also been imported into Microsoft Access. So far, so good. No problems. Once again, it's talking about creating a relationship. So we are now going to connect the two tables. Okay, so in order, before connecting the two tables, it's very important that you first close whatever tables you have opened, because you cannot create a relationship while two tables are open. Okay, so let's close these two tables. Results close, clubs close. And now let's go into database tools. In database tools, we have relationship. Click on that. And from over here, we need the two tables. We need the clubs table and we need the results table. So let's get these two tables. Let's increase the height so we can see all the fields. Okay, here you go. Let's keep a bit of a distance between the two as well. All right. Now over here, the first thing that we are supposed to do is it says create a one-to-many relationship between club ID in the clubs table and club code in the results table. So club ID in the clubs table and club code in the results table. Let's do that. So here we have club ID. It needs to be connected with club code, which is over here. So a simple drag and drop will do the job for you. Okay, so you simply click over here, drag it, add. Let's do it again. Drag it and drop it over here. So again, your computer asks you for confirmation. Is it club ID to club code? If that's correct, you can click on create. But before clicking on create, there's one more thing. If it is not correct, from over here, you can click and you can choose the correct field. One more thing that you need to do is you need to click on enforce referential integrity. Okay. And you can see your computer has already automatically identified that this is a one-to-many relationship, which basically means that one club can have many results associated with it. Okay. Your computer has already identified it. You can go ahead and click on create. And you can see a one-to-many relationship has been created. Here it is one, here it is many. Okay, so things are going quite fine so far. The next thing that it tells you to do is it says place in your evidence document screenshots showing the type of relationship between the two tables. So you can simply take a screenshot of this area, Windows Shift S again. Okay, it goes into screenshot mode. And you can simply take a screenshot of this area. Come into Microsoft Word, come into evidence number 6, Control V to paste, and there you go. That's also done. Okay, right. Now moving on to question number 21. So before I move on to question 21, I want to just clear things up. So I'm done with this. I'm going to click on close, and my computer is going to remind me if you want to save this. I'm going to say yes. Save it. Okay. And now my screen is quite clear. Okay, so now I can move on to the next question. So in the next question, it tells me, enter the following details as a new record in the results table. So I'm supposed to enter this record into the results table. So let's go up and open up the results table here. Results table is open. And let's scroll down right to the bottom because we're going to enter a new record. So let's go right to the bottom over here. Right. So now this is a simple task. You just need to XC0235, XC05, the Olsen Janet. And this goes as MTBC10, MTBC10, 12/2/1991, 28, 13.67, 605,550, 605,550. This is a yes, which means I need to tick. Over here, it goes as senior 1929. Here it goes as expert. Right, so the data has been entered. So check your data for entry for errors, save the data. So let's click on save, and we have saved our data. Okay. Now it says using field from both tables, produce a tabular report that selects the records where event rank is 5 or less, ability does not include novice, okay, or novice, okay. So now it wants us to produce a report based on 2 criteria, okay. So before you produce a report, you should first produce something called a query, okay. Using a query, you can extract data based on criteria. So you can see over here, there are 2 criteria. Criteria number 1 is I only want the records where the event rank is 5 or less, and ability does not include novice. So I'm going to first create a query that fulfills these 2 criteria, and then I'm going to convert that query into a report. Okay, so if you're confused right now, just observe what I'm doing over here. Okay, I'm first going to create a query that fulfills these criteria, and then I'm going to simply convert that query into a report. Okay, so let's get started. Let's go into create and say we want a query. So let's go into query design. Okay, and over here you can see my query, it has been zoomed into it. That's all right. Now, what are the tables I need? So over here the question paper very clearly tells me I need to use both tables. Okay, I need to use both tables. I'm going to take both tables. I'm going to take clubs table. I'm going to take results table. And let's increase the height so it's properly visible over here. Right, now I can close this. I don't need this anymore. Right, so what are the fields that I need to select? Over here it says first name, last name, club name, category. Okay, first name, last name, club name, category. Where's category? Category is over. Category is over here. And next value I need gender and event rank. Gender, which is over here, event rank over here. Right, so I've got all my fields. Let me increase them so that they're all properly visible. Right. Now, the first thing is event rank is 5 or less. So over here we have event rank. You can see this is my criteria row. I'm going to put a criteria which is less than or equal to 5. You know, they said less than. What did they say over here? 5 or less. So which is why in my criteria I put less than or equal to 5. Okay. The second criteria was does not include novice. Okay. So I want the records that do not have novice. Okay. So in the results field, you can see over here in ability, we have different types of ability. Novice, proficient. Then we have, for example, what else? Sports, expert, elite. We have different types of abilities. Okay. So I want all of them except novice. Okay. So over here under which one is it? So novice comes under ability. However, I have not been given permission to show ability. The ability field, if the question paper hasn't given me permission to show it. So, but there is a criteria for the ability field. Okay. So I'm going to take the ability field, but I'm not going to show it. Let me show you how I do that. Okay. So I'm going to take ability over here. We do have ability over here. I'm going to take this field and I'm going to untick this box, which means do not show it. Okay. I'm going to put a criteria for this as well, but I do not want it shown in my results because the question paper gave me permission to only show these fields. Okay. So over here, my criteria is going to be not what? Not novice. Okay. This is going to be my criteria, not, and in double quotes, I have mentioned not novice. Okay. Not that particular ability I do not want. Okay. So this is how you type this criteria. Okay. And over here, it talks about sorting and all that. We can do all these sortings in our report. Okay. Right now, we're just trying to get these two criteria fulfilled. That's what we're trying to do right now. Okay. So let's execute this. Let's convert this into information. Query design. So we have given our criteria. We have told what fields to show, what fields not to show. Now we are going to run this. We are going to execute it. We are going to convert it into information. Okay, so let's click on run. And over here, these are our data based on the criteria that we give. Okay. If you ever have an issue, you can always come back to design view, click on view, come back to design view, and you can what do you call adjust them if needed. Okay. And then once you're done, again, you can click on run. It will be brought back into data view. Now, before we convert this into a report, let's save this. Okay, we'll just save it as query one. Oops. And now let's go ahead and convert this into a report. So let's click on create and let's click on the report. Report is over here. Let's click on report. Oh, sorry, my bad. Close this again. I'm going to go through report wizard because there are a couple of things I need to do on the way. Click on create. Make sure you're in query one, okay? Because you want query one to be converted into a report. So make sure you're on that particular query. Okay. And we're going to report wizard. And then our computer asks us again, what do you want to convert into a report? Query one. Now, what are the fields? We need all these fields. So we say take all of them. Okay. And we click on next. When the computer asks you, how do you want to view your data? You keep it as it is. Don't go to change it because the question paper hasn't told us anything about this. So we click on next. Do you want to add any groupings? With regard to groupings, your question paper has very clearly told you. Where is it? Do not group the data. So over here, they have said not to do any grouping. So just simply ignore it. Next. With regard to sorting, you can do sorting over here. You can, but let me tell you the problem that generally happens when you do sorting over here. Now, for example, it says sort the data into descending order of category and ascending order of event rank. So you can come over here and you can select those fields and you can no problems. But what happens is once you finish the wizard, the two fields that you applied sorting for, the two fields, the category field and event rank field, they come at the beginning of your results. Okay, so then what happens is this particular order is not followed. You get my point? I hope you're following. When you do the sorting over here, what happens is for some reason, the category field and event rank field will automatically become the first two fields of this order, which you do not want to happen because question paper has clearly told you you need to display your data in this particular order. You get my point? Okay, so which is why I'm not going to do the sorting now. I'm going to do it after the report is created. Okay, I hope you understood what I just said. I'm going to click on next. Okay, what type of a layout do you want? We want it to be tabular because the paper has mentioned over here tabular. The next thing is, what's the orientation? So with regard to orientation, the question paper has over here portrait. Okay, so make sure it's selected as portrait. Okay, and then adjust the field width so all fields fit on a page. Do we need that? So if you look over here, it's on a single page wide. So we need that. We need that to be ticked. Okay, we want it to fit one A4 paper. So we click on next. What's the title for a report? That too the question paper has given. It has mentioned results by category. Okay, so let's do that. Let's come over here and it's in capital letters. No, it's not. So just results by category. Okay, that's also done. And let's click on finish. So now the report has been created for us. Okay, and we are right now in a view called print preview. Okay, this is how it would look on a printout. Okay, so I'm going to close print preview. I'm going to close this and I'm going to go into layout view. So in layout view, you can see how it looks. Okay, and if you come to your question paper, there is one more thing that needs to be done. It says calculate the number of races and place this under the gender column, formatted as an integer. Okay, so every record over here is a racer. Get my point? Every record over here is one racer. The question paper wants us to do a function which will calculate the total number of racers over here, and they want us to place that value below the gender column. Okay, so I would prefer doing this in the design view. Okay, so in design view, we come over here, and in design view, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the gender field. This is the gender field, and I'm going to tell my computer count how many records are there. Okay, count how many records are there. Because why am I clicking on gender? Because I want the answer to be below gender. That's why I'm clicking on gender. You can click on any field, but since the question paper told me we want the answer to be below gender, I'm clicking on gender. And now I'm going to use in report design. In report design, we have something called total. Inside total, you have two options: count the number of records or count the total value of these records. If each of these records have a numeric value, it will add them all up together and tell you the total. Now over here, I just want to count the number of records. I just want to know the number of racers over here. Okay, so I'm going to say count record. So as soon as I click on that, you can see at the bottom, the formula for count has been placed. Hope you can see my cursor. So over here, the total count has appeared. Now, if you go back into your question paper, it says a label of number of racers to the left of this value. So to the left of this value, I have the label with the number of racers. Okay. So in report design over here, we have various tools that you can use. I'm going to look for the label. This is a label. I'm going to take it and I'm going to carefully draw it from here to here. And I'm going to say number of racers. It's a little too big. Let's make this a little smaller. Let's take this up. Oops, sorry. There you go. That's also done. Now, let's do the next thing. It has only your name, center number, and candidate number in the footer of the report. So it appears on every page. Okay. So we can do this in the page footer. In the page footer, let's put a new label. Our name, candidate number, somewhere over here. Okay. Name, candidate number, and center number. Okay. Right. Then what we do next is, so let's go and see how it looks. Let's go back into report view. And you can see it looks quite fine. Heading there and scroll down to the bottom. You can see, for example, over here, the total number of records is there, the label number of places is there, also your footer is there, name, candidate number, and center number. Save and print your report. Okay, make sure. So, how do you print your report? It's very simple. You simply come into file, print it. Okay, and you can say print. Okay, and from here you choose your printer. That's quite simple. The next thing that needs to be done is you also need to take a screenshot of the formula used in the database to calculate the number of racers. So for this, you will have to go into design view. Okay, and you will take a screenshot of this because you're supposed to show the formula. Okay, so I'm going to go with Windows Shift S. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. And I'm going to paste it under evidence number 7. Control V. There you go. So we are done with that. Evidence 7 is also done. Okay, we are done with this particular question as well. I hope it made sense to you. Let's click on save. Okay, let's go back into report view. That's also done over here. Right. Moving on to the next question, the next database question over here. It says using fields from both tables, produce a tabular report that, and they have given you a couple of criteria that you need to follow over here. Okay. So what we're going to do is, again, we are going to create a query, okay, and extract data based on these criterias, and then we are going to convert it into a report. I just remembered I forgot something that we were supposed to do over here, which is the sorting. We didn't do the sorting, which is mentioned over here. Okay, so let's quickly do the sorting as well. Okay, let's come over here. So if you're in report view, you can do the sorting. Come to the home tab, click on advanced filter or sorter. Okay, because there are two sortings you want to do at the same time, which is why we're going to go to advanced filter or sorter. And what is the first field we need? The first field that we need is the descending order of category. So let's get category first. Category, and we want it to be in descending order. Okay. And the next field is ascending order of event rank. So let's get event rank over here, and we want it to be in ascending order. So you have told how it needs to be sorted, and now it's time for you to apply the sorter. So right click over here and say apply the filter or sort. Now the filter or sort has been applied. Okay, now you're done with the question. Right, let's move on to the next one. Let's save our data. So over here, it says using fields from both tables. So we're going to create another query. Okay, so let's come into create, query design. And over here, we are supposed to use both tables. The question paper very clearly told us both tables. So we're going to take both tables from over here. Okay. Right. Now, what are the fields we need? We need the fields first name, last name, club name, location. First name, last name, club name, location. Okay, let's make all these. Then we need category, event rank, penalty. Category, event rank, penalty. Okay. Don't need this anymore. Event rank, penalty, and average miles per hour and revised miles per hour. So average miles per hour here. Now, with regard to this particular field, revised miles per hour, you have to notice the question paper says it contains a new field called revised miles per hour, which is calculated at runtime. During execution, this would be calculated. How would it be calculated? Using data from the average miles per hour field and reducing this by 5%. So we are supposed to have a new field, and the name of that field is going to be revised underscore miles per hour. Okay, this is the name of the field. And this field is going to have a mathematical formula. That mathematical formula is, it's going to take the average miles per hour and reduce it by 5%. So since this is the name of the field, I'm going to put a colon, which means this is the end of the name of the field, colon. And now I'm going to type a mathematical formula. So I'm going to use square brackets, and I'm going to mention the field, which is average miles per hour. Okay, talking about this particular field, which is why I put in square brackets. So I want to take whatever value is over here, okay, close square brackets, and I want to subtract it with 5% of the average miles per hour. This is what the question paper told me. The question paper told me revised miles per hour is equal to average miles per hour reduced by 5%. Okay, so I'm going to say minus, and I'm going to open brackets and say 0.05. So 5% is 0.05 times what? Times the average. I'm going to open square brackets again. Average miles per hour. Make sure you get the same spelling, capital letters, all that should be exactly the same. Okay, I hope my formula makes sense. Okay, so over here, let's say this is the name of my field. This is the name of my field. Let's make it big so you can properly see it. This is the name of my field. Then I put a colon because I want to type a mathematical formula. I put square brackets because I'm referring to another field, which is average miles per hour, minus 5% of average miles per hour. Okay, so minus 0.05, which is 5% times average miles per hour. And I want this field to be shown in my results. Okay, sorry, I forgot to close the brackets over here. Okay, I want this to be shown, so which is why I have picked it to be shown. Right. And now comes the criteria. Number one, location should include the text east. It should include the text east. So we're going to come to location, and we're going to say star, okay, double quotes, east, star, double quotes, okay? Sorry. Double quotes, star, okay? Which basically means include. I'm looking for words that include the word east, okay? I'm looking for results. I'm looking for locations. That's why I put the star at the beginning, star at the end means includes. Okay, so I'm looking for records or locations that include or that have the letters EAST or have the word east in them. Okay, right. That's my first criteria. My second criteria is the category should be senior. So category over here, I'm going to say, I made a mistake over here. Sorry, it's to be double quotes, star, is double quotes. Okay, my bad. Right. Category should be senior. Okay, so in double quotes, I say I only want the senior ones. Okay, only the senior categories. And penalty is yes. Penalty is yes. Do remember, for penalty, it was a Boolean value, yes or no. So we are not going to type double quotes because it's not a text that you're looking, it's not a string, it's a Boolean value. Okay. So we're just going to type yes. There's not going to be any double quotes. Right. So we're done with the criterias as well. So now it's time for us to execute this. Okay. So we're going to come to query design and we're going to click on run. Okay, so these are the results. You can see over here, penalties, all the ticked ones are equal to yes. Right. Now we're going to convert this into a report. So we're going to first save it. We can save it as query 2. It's all right. And now we're going to click on create. We're going to say a report wizard. Okay, so we want this report to be based on query 2. Okay, and we want all the fields. So we take all the fields. We click on next. Okay, how do you want to view your data? The question paper hasn't told us anything about that. Let's go on to next. Any grouping, you can see question paper has said do not group the data. Okay, so let's go on to next. Sorting, like I told you, I'm not going to do the sorting over here. I hope you remember last time I told you the problem. When you do the sorting over here, the fields that you select for sorting, they automatically become the first fields of your report. Don't want that happening. Okay, so we will do the sorting later on. Okay, so we click on next again. What type of layout? We want a tabular layout, so that's okay. What type of orientation? We want a landscape orientation. And do we want, so we'll change this to landscape. Do you want all the fields to fit on a page? Yes, on a single page. So we want that also to be ticked. So we click on next. Okay, what is the title? Let's see what title do we give for this. The title over here is speed penalties applied. Let's try it. Speed penalties applied. Okay, and let's click on finish and we'll start making the changes thereafter. Okay, so now let's go in order. We have completed this. We have completed this. We have completed this. We have sorting. Shall we do the sorting now? Let's close print preview. Let's go into report view. Let's go into advanced filter or sort. This time there's only one field, descending order of average miles per hour. So let's take average miles per hour and let's say sort descending. Okay, and now let's apply this. Right click, apply the filter or sort. So that's also done. Okay, has a page orientation of landscape. We did that. Fits on a single page. We did that as well. Includes only the text speed penalties applied as a title on the top of the page. Formatted so it displays in black color, 30 point and serif font style. So let's do that. Let's go into design view. Let's select this and let's make it in format. Let's make it black. Let's make it size 30. Okay, now we're running out of space. So let's pull this out. Okay. Right. Has your name, center number, and candidate number on the report. Okay, so we'll put it in page footer. Let's come to report design. Let's take a label. Let's draw a label over here. Name, candidate number, and center number. Okay, so let's just have one more look. Let's go into layout view and let's see how it looks. It doesn't look that great. A couple of problems over here. This is not properly visible. Let's increase the size of this. Let's move this. Let's make this bigger. Okay. Let's click on this, press shift and click on the data. Now both of them get selected. And now let's gently move it over here. Then penalty, let's make it bigger. Okay, let's click on the shift and click on the data. And let's move that also over here. Average miles, click on that, press shift, click on the data. With the arrow keys, you get it over here. Okay, right. Revised is only having a bit of a problem. Okay, let's see if we can take this slightly a little bit this side. Okay, perfect. And this also a little more this side. Right, now everything is all right. Okay, perfect. So we have a problem over here. Here, this is not properly visible, so we will have to make these smaller. And then we will have to move this a little bit that side. Okay. Okay. Then let's make these a little, also go that side. Okay. Okay. Let's make this a little bigger. Right, everything is now properly visible. Right, super. There was one more thing that I think I have missed out on. Oh, I think it's okay. Yeah, everything is properly visible over here. Everything is properly visible over here. Yeah. Oh yes, the thing that was on my mind is over here. It mentioned, and I think I should have done this in the query itself. It doesn't matter. The field that we calculated, it has to be to 2 decimal places. Okay, so let me just quickly show you that as well. Let's go back to normal view. Let's go to design view. Okay, so this revised, what do you call, revised miles per hour. We did a calculation over there. However, we forgot to make it 2 decimal places. So let me see if I can do it over here. Let's go into property sheet. Okay, report design property sheet. Decimal places, let's make it 2 decimal places. And let's have a fixed format. Okay, let's have a fixed value. Okay, fixed size. And it's going to be 2 decimal places. Okay, I think this should do the trick now. So if you come over here, yes, it's following 2 decimal places, exactly as required by the paper. Right, that's also done. And your name, candidate number, we did this already. Okay, save and print your report. So you do know how to print your report. Now you can come and say Control P, or you can come and click on File, Print. Both are completely fine. Okay. Export this report to your work area in RTF format, rich text format. Okay, so we need to export this report. Let's click on Save. Now let's go again into external data. And now we need to export this, not as Excel file, not as a PDF file. We click on More, and we want to export it as a rich text file. Click on this. Okay, let's click on this. And let's say, okay, let's click on Browse, make sure we're in the correct folder. So yes, we are in the correct folder. What is the name of the file supposed to be? The name of the file is supposed to be SPA. So let's come over here and type SPA. That's also done. And let's click on Save and say OK. So now it's in the process of exporting it. Click on Close. And if you come into your folder, there you go. The file has been exported to your folder. Okay. So I hope things are going well for you. I hope you're not having any issues. I hope I'm not going too fast as well. Okay, so in our next video, we will be moving on to task number 4, where we will be dealing with mail